To many observers in the aviation industry, India is a mixed bag. With a growing aviation industry, yet many of the airlines in the country are struggling financially. However, this hasn't stopped the airline Vistara from setting itself apart as a premium Indian airline, as it positions itself to become India's next global airline. Compared to the other airlines in the market, Vistara is a relative newcomer. Founded as a joint venture between Singapore Airlines and India's Tata Sons conglomerate, the airline started its first flights as a domestic premium airline in 2015. Since the opening of the first flights, the airline has a fleet of around 30 aircraft, including Airbus A320 and Boeing 737s, to over 20 destinations, mostly in India, but recently the airline has introduced some international flights, including to Singapore, Bangkok, and Dubai. One thing to note that some of the Boeing 737-800s that the airline recently received were acquired from fellow Indian-based carrier Jet Airways, which recently suspended its operations earlier this year. Recently, the airline was identified as the 6th largest domestic airline, but it has really set its sights to become an international airline, and recently it got the permission from the Indian government to commence international flight operations. That was soon followed by the first launch of the flights to Singapore in August, and since then the airline has made public its international expansion plans, which includes long-haul flights from India. For its regional expansion, the airline is looking to acquire more Boeing 737-800s as well as the A321neos, to go along with a large number of Airbus A320s to support the fleet expansion. Like its Asian counterparts, we could likely see the A321s used on flights where the airline will need more capacity on both the international and domestic markets. Where it really gets interesting is the long-haul plans, as the airline is set to acquire around 6 Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. The aircraft has been originally scheduled to be delivered in the early 2020s, though reports have surfaced it could come earlier, thanks to the airline agreeing to acquire aircraft originally scheduled to be delivered to Hainan Airlines, which was then followed by a Twitter photo showing a Boeing 787-9 aircraft in Vistara colors. Now, there hasn't been much details given about the exact configuration of the aircraft, though the airline has stated that the aircraft will be featuring Wi-Fi as well as in-flight entertainment. According to the airline, the expansion for international flights will first focus on European and Asian destinations, followed by North America and Australia in the next phase, and all these routes are expected to depart from either Delhi or Mumbai. Vistara has set itself apart in the domestic Indian market as a premium airline catering to India's upper and middle class. Of the European and Asian cities, London and Tokyo have been identified as potential destinations in various reports, though we could speculate that other Asian cities such as Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, and Seoul could be in the running as potential destinations for Vistara. For North America and Australia, we could likely mirror Air India's footprint in North America, especially in the United States and Canada, as well as flights to Sydney and Melbourne. Vistara could also consider serving the growing tourist market for New Zealand from India, as a flight from Delhi to Auckland, or a city in New Zealand, is within the range of a Boeing 787-9. One of the big advantages for Vistara in India is the management, as it is being helped and financed through the support of Singapore Airlines, which includes training and preparation for Vistara pilots to accommodate the 787s. To make its international flights more viable, it will probably need to expand its codeshare agreements, which includes the likes of United Airlines, British Airways, Japan Airlines, and the Singapore Airlines Group. Now, for the biggest challenges of the airline, Vistara will need to establish its brand not just with the Indian travelers, that it has already done with the domestic market, but international travelers not just in India but also abroad. It will also be met by internal challenges, especially the airline has faced losses over the last 2 years, so it will have to keep its expenses in check along with its international expansion plans. The name of the airline, Vistara, comes from a Sanskrit word for limitless expanse. While there are several challenges for Vistara, the company is looking out abroad for its expansion plans and opportunities. Looking abroad, the airline is looking to become the next global airline for India. Can Vistara overtake Air India as the premier airline for international travel to and from India? Also, will Vistara be able to translate the premium brand that is established for the Indian domestic market to the global audience? This has been another edition of Flights in Asia, highlighting the news and updates from the aviation and travel scene in the Asia Pacific. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, thank you for watching and have a great day.